program where we capture the acts of kindness, support and love shown during this period of the coronavirus pandemic adversely affecting the global socioeconomic space. We begin with the story that Japan has lifted a nationwide state of emergency over the coronavirus, gradually reopening the world's third largest economy, even as government officials warned caution was still necessary to prevent another wave. We had very stringent criteria for lifting the state of emergency. We have judged that we have met this, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe told a nationally televised news conference. Foreign tourists can book vacations in Spain from July as the 2-week self-quarantine for overseas travelers is likely to be suspended by then, the tourist minister has said. One of the worst hit nations in the world from the coronavirus, tourism-dependent Spain is gradually easing a strict lockdown, though it has kept a quarantine for visitors so as to prevent a second wave of infections. It is perfectly coherent to plan summer vacations to come to Spain in July, Reyes Maroto said in an interview with local radio station Onda Cero. Philippine president has given his government a week to process some 24,000 repatriated Filipino workers stuck for weeks on cruise ships or in coronavirus quarantine so they can finally go home. Thousands are aboard some 29 vessels off Manila Bay or stuck in hotels and crowded health facilities, some growing frustrated, having tested negative for the coronavirus and completed the mandated 14-day quarantine. Overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, are breadwinners and a key support base of Duterte. Their more than $30 billion of annual remittances is a key driver of the Philippine economy, supporting millions of family members. The president said they can use all government resources and whatever means of transportation, bus, airplane, ships, to bring the OFWs home, Duterte spokesman Avi Roque said earlier today. 9 clubs have begun to reopen in China as coronavirus curbs are eased. All customers have to give their names and numbers before entering and go through a temperature check. Charles Go, owner of 44 Safety, but had picked up by the end of last month. All staff wear masks and gloves, while door handles, toilets and other surfaces are disinfected every hour. Customers are not required to wear masks, but hand sanitizer is freely available and drinks are served in disposable glasses. Mexican President López Obrador says the novel coronavirus could cost up to 1 million jobs because many industries considered not essential remain shut. My prediction is that with coronavirus, 1 million jobs will be lost, López Obrador said in a televised speech yesterday. He then promised the government would create 2 million new jobs. López Obrador's government has repeatedly said it has the outbreak under control, but has since posted record numbers for new cases and deaths. The Mexican economy was already in recession before the pandemic struck, and some banks have predicted it could contract 9% this year. Hungary opened its southern border for citizens of Serbia and Hungary, Hungarian Foreign Minister told a news conference. Hungary decided to reciprocate a similar measure taken by Serbia on Friday, he said, adding that the novel coronavirus pandemic was under control in both countries, which allowed the easing of restrictions. The move followed a gradual reopening of landlocked Hungary's other borders, which now allows some movement, although restrictions have not been fully lifted. Also, Hungary's 2021 budget will contain nearly $1 trillion forints, which is equal to $9.34 billion anti-pandemic fund, Finance Minister Miale Varga said, adding that it would submit the budget to Parliament. Like other governments, Hungary's cabinet unrolled a massive economic stimulus package earlier this year to fight the fallout from the novel coronavirus pandemic. The government hopes that a projected 3+% recession will turn around in 2021. President Cyril Ramaphosa announced yesterday a further easing of South Africa's coronavirus lockdown from June 1st, allowing the vast majority of the economy to return to full capacity. Africa's most industrialized economy has been largely shut down since late March, when the government enforced severe restrictions to stem the spread of the novel coronavirus, which has so far infected 22,583 people and killed 429. Ramaphosa, who has been under pressure from rival political parties and a variety of industries to ease the restrictions, said following broad consultations, the cabinet has decided to move the country to level 3 of its 5-level lockdown system. While Ramaphosa initially enjoyed broad support for the strict lockdown, which confined most people to their homes aside from essential trips and banned the sale of alcohol and cigarettes, that has given way to concerns about the impacts on an already shrinking economy and on a mostly poor population. Under level 3, Ramaphosa said that aside from a few exceptions where risks of transmission is high, the economy could return to full capacity, a curfew and restriction on outdoor exercise will be lifted, and alcohol could be sold for home consumption. Defined contribution pensions are showing positive signs of market recovery after dramatic falls in the number of expected retirements this year due to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Imans Robertson's DC tracker shows many scheme members have already recovered more than half of the falls from the worst period of market shares experienced in the UK for decades. The tracker monitors changes to the expected retirement incomes of 3 typical pension scheme members and tracks the impact of the last few months on their expected outcome, assuming members are fully invested in equity markets in the early years of their savings journey and a more diversified mix of assets as members approach retirement. Imans Robertson said many DC pension holders are now unlikely to see their retirement income suffer at all. The tracker showed Gen X savers saw a reduction in their expected income of between 20 and 25% at the worst point of the market crash in March. This impact reduced to 10% at the start of March. We go on a short break, and when we return, we bring you further stories and reports.
How do I use Debtors Africa? As simple as ABC. Search for names of companies or directors. You can also request to delist people and companies on the site. Banks upload the delinquent debtors and the name stays on the site until the debt is resolved. Debtors Africa, your one-stop debt recovery solution.
welcome back. As the world begins to reopen during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Knot, a leading wedding planning and registry resource, shares the new reality of weddings. Hundreds of thousands of weddings happen around the world every weekend, and according to the Knot Global Research, most engaged couples whose weddings have been impacted by COVID-19 are not cancelling their weddings and are rescheduling for either later this year, 2021, or not making any changes at this time. With a strong desire to celebrate their weddings as they had originally planned, 94% of couples in the US and 87% globally do not plan to reduce their overall wedding guest count, and 95% in the US and 90% globally do not anticipate lowering their budget, according to research from the Knot. According to the research, to-be weds and wedding professionals are experiencing an unprecedented time as this pandemic has altered one of the most celebrated moments in a couple's life. But love is not cancelled, said Christine Maxwell Cooper, editor-in-chief of the Knot. It's not a matter of if, but when events are permitted again. Couples and guests will be more eager than ever to celebrate love and one of life's biggest moments together after long periods of isolation. While the world opens back up, many countries and states are still implementing guidelines limiting large group gatherings and events. As countries and states continually adapt local regulations in response to the potential of changing circumstances, the Knot anticipates weddings being celebrated in a number of different ways. One factor that will remain constant is the desire for human connection and the celebration of love with loved ones, no matter what that celebration looks like. With the help of weddings industry experts, the Knot shares the new reality of weddings regarding health and safety measures, layouts, and new event formats, and rethinking the guest experience. Here are some health and safety measures on weddings post-COVID-19. Creative sanitizing top of mind for couples and vendors. While sanitizing products have not always served as staple wedding decor, health and safety measures will be incorporated into wedding day protocol in creative ways. Planners or venue owners will help couples come up with unique ways to distribute highly coveted hand sanitizing solutions to guests, which can include personalized bottles in welcome bags or as pre-wedding favors, and having wait staff pass out mini bottles styled on silver trays. Masks and gloves become wedding staples. Additionally, couples may offer gloves and masks to guests with their overall wedding day decor and style, and even adopt formal gloves as a fashion accessory for their wedding day look. Historically, gloves have been seen as an elegant and timeless fashion accessory, which some couples have natively adopted with handshakes in mind. Vendors will likely be required to wear personal protective equipment, especially those who are serving guests, such as catering staff and bartenders. Plated versus buffet meals. While great food and libations are still top of mind for couples, the manner in which dishes and drinks are prepared and served will follow stringent safety precautions. Most couples will likely opt for plated meals instead of a buffet in the near future, but if a serve-yourself style meal is preferred, smaller stations will be incorporated rather than a long assembly line for a full buffet. The health and safety of guests is of utmost importance. Couples should communicate to guests the measures being put into place and emphasize that by following their guidelines, they are showing love and respect to them and others in attendance, said Emily Clark, founder of Emily Clark Events. Putting a personalized touch to these measures will go a long way in normalizing the incorporation into weddings and keeping the positive, fun spirit of a wedding intact. For instance, create personalized hand sanitizing wipes in petite packages with guest names on them so people can sanitize as soon as they sit down for dinner. New wedding formats and layouts. Couples are encouraged to work with their wedding venue in staging socially distanced yet creative ceremony and reception groupings for guests, as large dense crowds will still likely raise concerns. Couples in early planning stages who have not yet chosen their vendor team may consider incorporating open-air or outdoor elements to their celebrations to eliminate guests feeling confined. For those who have chosen their venue already, couples will be more intentional with who they are inviting and guests they are grouping together at both the ceremony and reception dining tables. Ceremonies adopting standing room and socially distanced seats. Shorter ceremonies with more room for standing will be the norm, allowing guests to be as close to others or not as they feel comfortable. For those who prefer to have a seat, expect to see ceremony venues accommodate social distancing with spaced seating arrangements. Wedding officiants may also request that couples stand a bit further away from them during the ceremony and that wedding parties place more space in between individuals. The new age receiving line, gesture lines. While greeting each guest is suggested etiquette for couples and their family members, couples may put a unique spin on contactless greetings, whether this involves an element of their culture like a bow or something more casual and playful like a contemporary gesture line filled with winks and waves in lieu of a traditional receiving line. Whatever the couple decides, don't be surprised to see gentle reminders to social distance displayed throughout the ceremony and reception spaces at many weddings. Satellite stations steal the show. When it comes to late night celebrating, dancing will still be a part of weddings, and now couples can explore the concept of satellite dance floors and satellite bars to provide more than one space to bust a move or refresh their beverage. Not only will this serve as a health and safety precaution, but it will also allow guests to explore different entertainment experiences throughout the festivities. Nigeria's total confirmed cases of COVID-19 infections are now 7,839 with 2,263 recoveries and 226 deaths. Lagos leads with 3,505, followed by Kano 896 and FCT Abuja 505. Abia 7, Imo 7 and Benue 5 are states with the lowest cases of coronavirus infections. Total sample tests carried out are now 45,683. And that will be all for today's edition of The Human Angle. You can send your videos and pictures to news@polshareng.com or programs@polshareng.com and let's share your experience and views. Visit our website www.polshareng.com to get more updates from our news stories and videos. Also follow our social media platforms shown on the screen for further updates on our market reports. Join us by 6 p.m. for our evening segments, which will be streamed live on our YouTube, Facebook and Twitter channels. See you tomorrow. Thank you for watching and keep staying safe.